I am Dr. Talat, and you are watching Brief. Belt and Road Initiative is a massive economic venture of China with regards to developing countries having an objective of regional economic connectivity as well as global market economy. With regards to BRI, there are different official and popular perceptions which need to be addressed in the age of vibrant media. To discuss this, we have China scholar Dr. Haiyun, who heads Zhenghe Forum promoting understanding between China and Muslim world. Welcome, Dr. Ma.
Thank you, Dr. Talat.
First of all, what do you think? What is BRI in terms of Chinese foreign policy towards developing countries?
If you try to understand BRI, we really have to understand or put in the historical context. As you know, since 1949, China actually had different foreign policies. First, from 1949, I would say to 1979, you basically have like a Soviet-oriented or Soviet-centered foreign policy, which means you basically have a socialist foreign policy. Then from 1979 to today, or probably to 2013, 2012, you have like open door policy. You basically have like a West-oriented foreign policy, more balanced towards more economic policy. Then from 2013 to today, I would say China really began to implement a comprehensive foreign policy towards developing country, Islamic country. This is the first time actually China have a very comprehensive policy. This is not ideologically driven. This is purely economically driven foreign policy. So that's why you can imagine throughout history, this is the first time, as I said, China really has reached out to developing countries through this economic channel, if you will.
Dr. Ma, would you like to explain the development model of China vis-a-vis the Western model that we in our part of the world follow or look to?
First of all, if you remember, China is a socialist country, which means Chinese economy is basically a socialist economy, or it's a state economy, especially large entrepreneurial, large company, large factories are basically under the government control. So that is very much different from West capitalist economy. So that's why if you look at Chinese development model, which is very much driven by government, which is very much driven by state, which is very much driven by state company. So that's why if you look at both in China or abroad, basically Chinese state company carrying out this large, massive project. While in the West, you basically have like a market economy, you have private economy. So that's why everything you have to have a public debate, public assessment. So that's why it's basically more like a private economy driven. So that's what I would say the biggest difference between Chinese development model and the West development model is who carrying out all this construction, who carrying out all this economy project. So basically here we will see Chinese state economy play a central role.
So you think there are certain challenges that you face with regard to the development model?
Yeah, definitely. If you think about first, China is different, right? Chinese economy, state economy, as I said, the socialist economy. Then if you think about Belt and Road Initiative, many countries actually they have different political system, economic system. So that's why for many countries from Southeast Asia to South Asia to Africa, many of these countries used to be ruled by Western power, which means they try to build Western economic institutions, political institutions. So that's why you have to adjust it to local context. So that's why you do have challenges politically, socially, culturally, even economically.
Dr. Ma, since we live in an age where perceptions matter a lot.
Yeah.
So what do you think, what are the perception challenges that BRI country currently, China is facing with regard to BRI countries?
The biggest challenge, I think this is, as you said, medium era. Everything have to be discussed by the public in many countries. At the same time, remember, this is basically a state project in China. No matter, BRI or other project, that's why we said this is a state-controlled economy, state-implemented project. So there's a gap actually between state planning and public discussion. So that's why when you have all this project in Southeast Asia, Pakistan, other countries, then people always ask, now what's the detail of this project, right? What's the information? So to many people, it's almost like kind of secret agreement between government and government. But actually, as I said, the challenge actually is not about the secret. It's actually about development model. As I said, if you try to execute this project, you really have to have a quick decision. You have to powerful execution. So that's why for public, they would like to see debates. They would like to see benefit. So that's why I would say the challenge actually comes from different development approach, from different society, from the relationship between government and the populations. So that's why in many countries, including Pakistan, people may have some misconceptions about Belt and Road Initiative.
So what do you feel there are challenges with regard to the pilot project, which is CPEC? Like when you say perception challenges, so perception challenges do exist between China and Pakistan with regard to CPEC too. So what is your opinion about it?
Yeah, first of all, if you look at, as I said, you have a gap between government propaganda and the social or popular opinion. So one of the reasons I think, if you look at all this Belt and Road Initiative project, is a government try to implement without too much explanation. And the social media and the public opinion basically try to get what's the nature of this project. So I would say for CPEC, possibly for the government, they basically want to build all this Eurasian-wide connectivity without too much debate, even in China. And also you can imagine which caused really some concerns and some debate among intellectuals and even society. And also for the population, for the publics, they always want to know what's the detail. What can we benefit from this project? So that's why I said the real challenge is how government can tell the people this project really can benefit themselves, not only from short-term perspective, but also for the long run. For example, all this project, if you look at energy project, infrastructure project, of course, ordinary people, for the short-term run, they cannot make money, right? But for the long run, you can imagine all this road, railways, port can connect village to village, city to city. So that's why I think government have a long-term plan, but people cannot. So that's a really big challenge. That's why you have misconceptions.
Dr. Ma, what is the general perception about Pakistan and CPEC in China?
The general perception about CPEC is basically, as I said, very much diverse. Some government officials, they tend to see this as a part of a larger project, as I said, in Eurasian continent. For some public academics, they probably think it's more like a strategic. They think this is more like economic. So that's why for Pakistan, I think the image used to be very good. As you know, for the past several decades, China-Pakistan friendship or Pakistan dosti is always the standard slogan for both countries. But I think after 2001, you have the rise of Taliban in Afghanistan. Of course, you have connection between Taliban regime and Pakistan government. And also you have the rise of India as an economic power. So that's why I think China began to, after 2001, tied Pakistan more towards Central Asia, towards Afghanistan, which means image will change gradually. They think more, not only about Pakistan-China relationship or friendship, but also they began to concern about terrorism, cross-border and violence, especially when you have all this Afghan-Pakistan borderline issue.
Dr. Ma, since we know that there is a different system in China, there is a different system in Pakistan, so do you as a scholar feel that this different mode of governance in China and Pakistan will impact this CPEC?
I think it does. If you look, currently, for example, all these misconceptions regarding Pakistan, regarding China in both countries. So Chinese, as I said, began to concern about terrorism, extremism in Pakistan, Afghanistan borderline, and of course in Pakistan, population used to be. I think they're very familiar with British, election, all this freedom of speech, public debate, which is very different from Chinese society. So that's why people say why government does not tell much about this project or other project. So that's why there is a challenge, I would say, very serious, both government need to address. But at the same time, I think we have to understand all these projects, they were more like fundamental infrastructure project. It's not really about private economy or private business. So that's what people should understand. This is the foundation for any economic development. It doesn't matter whether in China or Pakistan or Africa.
Okay.
You have to build a railway, you have to build a road. So that's why above this foundation, you can do anything you really want for private, businessmen or other, economy.
Okay. Now, the last question that since we are concerned about it, we as Pakistanis, we are concerned about it. So what in your opinion is the future of BRI and CPEC?
BRI and the CPEC, as I said, already built foundation. In Pakistan, you build energy, like power plants, you build railways, motorways, all this infrastructure. So basically means you already have some foundation. But the future would be, how can you invite private businessmen, villagers, farmers to participate? So simply speaking, you already have a state-planned economy, you have a state-to-state cooperation. The next step is you really have to look at private participation, private business, private businessmen, for example, from China to Pakistan. What kind of products will you transport from both sides? You cannot always say we just sell and buy, government products or something. Mm-hmm. You have to invite private businessmen to do business between China and Pakistan. So that's what for all BRI projects, I think private investment, private business is the next step. You have to follow.
Okay. So, a supplementary question. You travel a lot in Pakistan. You travel in part of Europe. Do you think you are satisfied with the people-to-people contact that we have with China?
Which kind of satisfied?
With the people-to-people contact between China and Pakistan?
To be honest, this is the least communicated area, I would say, especially between Pakistan and China. If you review Chinese foreign policy towards other countries, as I said, from 1949 to 1970s, you basically have Soviet, Eastern European country-oriented foreign policy. From 1979 to almost 2013, you have Western country-oriented foreign policy, which means Chinese society as a whole have little knowledge about developing countries, especially a neighboring country like Pakistan. So that's why you really have to have cultural communication in future. Actually, that's the reason why we built this Zhenghe Forum, try to bridge China and Islamic world.
Thank you, Dr. Ma.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week.